This is John Dowler of Prayer Builders in Winona, Minnesota. Right now, we're going through First Thessalonians. We're in chapter 3. Now in chapter 3, verses 1 through 5, Paul's basically talking about, he's voicing his concern for their faith, the Thessalonians' faith. He had only been with them about 3 weeks. He had been with them less than a month when they got founded. And then he basically, because of pressure and persecution, he was forced to leave. And he was led by God to leave. And he was led by the church leadership in Jerusalem and other people. They were all saying leave. Otherwise, he would have probably ended up being a martyr. But what had happened is Paul was so concerned about their faith, he sent Timothy. Now, when you get up to chapter 3, when you get up to verse 6, which is what we're looking at today, down through verse 10, this is basically summarizing what Timothy's report was that he brought back to Paul. So let's go ahead and read verse 6. It says, verse 6, "But now when Timothy came from you to us and brought us good tidings of your faith and charity, and that you always have good remembrance of us always, desiring greatly to see us, as we also desire to see you." Now look at this. He came back and basically from verse 6 down to verse 10, you're going to see a lot of encouragement that the Thessalonian church just how the Thessalonian church was living, their state of mind, how it impacted Paul. It strengthened the leaders. And here's the thing. If you want to be a blessing to your leaders, I told you right now that in these first in the first 5 verses, Paul was talking about what was weighing so heavy on him is their faith. Because Paul knew if these people's faith grows weak, they're just going to end up being a number and a casualty. They're just going to give up under the pressure. They're just going to fold it up. They're just going to close things down. They'll cease to exist. Their church will cease to exist. That's happening a lot right now in this world, in this country. Churches are closing all the time. But here in verse 6 it says, "But when Timothy came from you to us," it says, "and brought us good tidings of your faith." He said, Timothy brought us good news of your faith. Paul was literally rejoicing. Man, if you want to be a strength and an encouragement to your leaders, I'll tell you what, one of the things that will weigh down on your spiritual leaders, your pastors, whatever, one of the things that will weigh down on them the most, if they sense that you're getting weak in faith, that your persuasion is decreasing, that it's on the decline, that the things that you were believing God for, the things that you were standing in faith for, now you're just like a car that someone's lifted their foot off the accelerator and the car is just slowly declining in speed. It's slowing down till eventually it's going to stop. That kind of stuff will weigh heavily on spiritual leaders. If you want to literally energize your spiritual leaders, if you want to cause them to break through and push through to the next level and whatever's going on, good tidings of faith is what will do it. And Paul got this. He got good news of faith and charity, which charity, that's the King James word for love. It's the agape, it's the love of God. He was here and I was all jacked up when I heard about this. You guys, I heard nothing. Timothy was telling me nothing but good news, that you are persuaded. Your persuasion hasn't weakened and you're walking in love. And then he says, "and you have good remembrance of us." It's like you're just always talking good about us. Basically, At this time in Thessalonica, there were all kind of false teachers. Paul was concerned if these false teachers were coming in and the things that they were saying was affecting the believers there at Thessalonica. And thank God they weren't. That the memory of Paul being there for those 3 weeks was just so burned into their memories and seared into their spirits. They had nothing but good memories, and they had nothing but good things to say about Paul. And these are all examples for us. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this up to you. I pray this was a blessing, and I just want to encourage you, no matter what you see happening, no matter what is taking place in this earth, no matter what you've heard about in the news or seen in the newspaper, which I'd encourage you to listen to those less and hear what God's saying. But no matter what is taking place, always remember this: Jesus is coming back soon.